Good afternoon everybody. Hello, it's Matt. I'm here at St Laurence Orchard in Southend, which is managed on behalf of Southend Council by Trust Links. I just thought I'd give you a chance to have a look around the orchard. I thought I'd come and do my check just to make sure that it's all okay. We've not had any vandalism, not got any problems here. So while I'm here, I thought I'd come and have a look round and show you around, show you the blossom, show you the wildlife at St Laurence Orchard, and give you a chance to catch up with the orchard if you've not been for a while. Or also, you know, obviously we were unable to go and visit the orchard, unable to go and do trips out at the moment, so it's a good chance for you to see it through Trust Links Live. And I thought it'd be good to come and see the blossom, come and see the orchard as it is, chat a little bit about the history, catch up with you guys here on Bank Holiday Monday, Easter Monday. Hope everybody's well, hope everybody's safe. Hope you're looking after yourselves and each other. So we'll do a little bit walk around and then I'll do a little bit of talk about the orchard. So here we are at the top of the orchard. This is where we have our apple days and our events at the top of the orchard. You'll probably recognise it if you've been to Apple Day. There's the big bit at the top. So the orchard's about an acre large. There's the big old apple tree that's in the middle that is often adorned with ribbons and banners and that sort of thing when we have our events here. The wassailing in January, February normally, and we normally have Apple Day in October. So we had a brilliant wassailing earlier this year. It was very busy and we had a really lovely, probably had about 300-400 people here. It was really busy, and hopefully we'll be back in time to do Apple Day again later in the year. Quite windy. I hope it's not too windy for the picking up of the microphone on the camera. Hello, I'm back. So just to tell you a little bit about St Laurence Orchard. The orchard was first planted 100 years ago this year, so in 1920, by veterans returning from World War I. This part of the orchard is the only remaining fragment of the orchards that kind of spread right across Eastwood in the area north of the borough of Southend. There were orchards, small holdings right across the area, so it's quite busily developed now, and we've got the airport right behind us, although obviously that's quiet at the moment. But often when we work here there are aeroplanes going over all of the time. So there were small holdings that went right across this area, right up St Laurence Church, right through to the estuary really. So it's 100 years old, so we've got quite a few trees that are 100 years old, which is really, really lovely. But obviously over the years they've died off, new ones been planted. We've had quite a few new ones planted in the 1950s, quite a few in the sort of 90s, and then Trust Links took it over about 15 years ago with Ron, who's one of our lovely trustees, really taking charge of it and taking responsibility for it, and basically rescuing it from being grubbed by the council. There was plans to just get rid of all the trees and just have it as a bit of grassland, municipal grassland, and Ron said actually there's really good biodiversity, really good value in this orchard, and we really want to keep it going. So on behalf of the people of Southend, the people of Essex, Ron and others have maintained the orchard. and Trustings has been managing it on behalf of the council for a good 15 years, probably more than that, and looking after it. So Trustings has been working with the council for several years to try to see how we can maintain it, how we can look after it on behalf of the people of Southend, on behalf of the nature and wildlife, so people can enjoy the orchard. And we have been working with the council for the last several years to try to get a lease on the council, so that on the orchard, so that we can look after it more permanently. So we've negotiated a 25-year lease for the orchard. I don't think it's actually been signed yet, but it's certainly been to and fro with solicitors. So yeah, what you'll see is what we've done over the last 15 or so years in terms of maintaining the orchard, looking after it, tending the trees, clearing the bramble, clearing all the nettles, but still allowing quite a lot of wildlife, a lot of nettles and brambles to be growing, just because that's really good for biodiversity, for nature and for the environment. So we've been carefully looking after it, but as you can see, it's still quite full of growth, and that's okay, that's good. So here you can see one of the older trees. This is probably from 100 years old, beautiful blossom. So a lot of the trees from the early days and from the 1950s are Bramley, which are, if you know, really good cooking apples, really good cookers, and some of the Bramleys survive that long, and they make really massive apples. Just walking through the so we do 2 big events a year, as I said. So we do a wassailing in February, which wakes up the trees in the spring, and people come here with pots or shakers, and then they come and they enjoy making lots of noise and waking up the trees. Then they have a little bit of hot apple juice, traditionally it's cider, and we sing. Kitty Theobald and her band come, her volunteers come and play, which is really, really lovely, and we sing wassailing songs, which is wonderful. Some more beautiful blossom. And then Kitty brings some toast, and we put the toast on the trees, which is an ancient tradition to toast the trees, but also it encourages lots of the bugs and wildlife and the birds to come out and engage with the wildlife. So we are in urban Southend, right under the airport runway, hemmed in by roads on St Laurence Way, Eastwoodbury Lane, but it is a bit of a rural idyll. So here's a pile of brambles that has been collected when we've been, I say we, the people that come and look after the orchard on our monthly work parties. And that's a really good habitat for wildlife as well. A lovely seating area here, nice and open. Oh, it looks like we've got a branch down. Presumably this is the wind that's taken that down. That will need to come down, otherwise it will lead diseases and that sort of thing. So when we did the pruning course with South Essex Organic Gardeners a few months ago, we also came to the orchard here and we're learning about pruning old trees, historic trees, because there's different methods of pruning for older trees than there is for younger trees. Just to be careful with what you prune and where you prune, and be really careful about where you cut, making those really careful cuts. Hello Brenda, hello Michelle, hello Fiona. And then along here, the conservation volunteers have come as well. So we have monthly work parties which Annette leads with Ruth and others on a Monday, although obviously not at the moment. And then on Sundays during the year also South Essex conservation volunteers come and do some work at the orchard too. So they help us maintain it. So in addition to the fruit trees, we planted a walnut tree. This is a walnut tree. That was probably planted 3 or 4 years ago at the wassailing. It's a good time to plant trees when we do the wassailing in the spring. Here we have the brambles that make the lovely blackberries. So in August that'll be full of blackberries, but a lot of the wildlife come and eat them, as do a lot of the people. It's one of the recent apple trees that we planted. It's quiet without the planes, isn't it, Jackie? Makes a change, because normally when you're here you have the planes flying over. This must have been one we planted last year. Quite a young tree there. Lots of nettles, which are very good for butterflies. Some people love chopping down the nettles, other people love to leave them and enable the wildlife to come. We may need to do nettle stew or something with the nettles if we get very short of food. Quite good nutritional value, a bit like spinach. Lovely blue sky. Good bit of hedge laying along here, which the conservation volunteers have done a lot of work on. So we've got the hawthorn here that has been used for the hedging. Another lovely open bit of here's another really old tree, one of the originals from 100 years ago. As you can see, it's hollowed out. Presumably I've certainly seen woodpeckers here. The wildlife come on hollowing it out. And then newer branches that have, I say new, that's probably about, don't know, 20, 30 years old. So Lynn says, can we go there anytime we like? Well, the gate is shut, so technically people aren't allowed in apart from for our events or to come and help with work parties. But I do know that some people come and do wander here and look after the orchard and treat it with respect, and that is absolutely fine. And similarly in the autumn, when we've got apples on all of these lovely trees, then come and pick them, but if you can respect that, obviously it's a community orchard, but for the whole community, so people will need to not have too many apples, just a handful of apples, just take what you need. There is plenty for everyone as long as people share it. Got another branch down here. Not sure that we had, whether that's just because they're rotten. We haven't really had particularly high winds recently, so we will need to do some maintenance here. It's like a little haven here, isn't it? Hello Ros, nice to see you. So there's a dead apple tree here, so they do obviously only have a limited lifespan, these sorts of trees. Once they're dead, then they'll be left as habitat for wildlife. Lots of little bugs and creatures will enjoy them. Obviously they're going to have to be cut back if they're unsafe for people when we do have people here. Interesting floor, just all the ivy. And cow parsley. So here's another dead hedge. So we put the dead hedge here with all the old brush, the bits off the trees, the twigs, and that just creates a really lovely natural barrier, natural habitat for insects, the birds to nest in it as well. So here, on this fairly young apple tree, got a rather large mistletoe plant. Apple trees with mistletoe on, I think it sucks quite a lot of the life out of the apple tree, but obviously mistletoe at Christmas is something that's much in demand. Doesn't seem to have stopped the tree from blossoming and enjoying it. Mistletoe is really coming to life. Got some very vigorous hazel, which presumably as it grows it will be coppiced. And we can use that for poles, beam poles and that sort of thing. Hazel's a really useful plant. Got an elder here which hasn't really come out much yet, but that will be the really good for elderflowers, elderflower cordial, and then elderberries. The birds will love that too. Here's another bit in the corner of the orchard, quite a few trees that we've been clearing underneath. As you can see, it's various points it's got very overgrown, but then the team's been brilliant here at clearing it out. And this bit of land next to the orchard, it's about half an acre of land with a massive willow in the middle. So this is part of our new lease as well, when we get the lease from Southend Council. So we've got to work out what we do with it. We have got plans, we've had planning permission to put a composting toilet and a shelter and a tool store on this bit of land, quite near the road, because it will need to be craned into the road. We just need a few tens of thousands of pounds to purchase them and put them in. So if anybody's got some spare money they fancy donating to help us do that, so that we can look after the orchard more often and with some facilities, that'd be very great. So this is a plum tree. We've got some old Victoria plums from last year that have obviously died. But there's some, yeah, you really have to come when the window of the plums are available. There's another beautiful blossom here. Lots more bramble and some dead nettle, which really the bees really love. And there's a bee. Right, well there you go, there's the tour of the orchard. As you can see, it's all intact, it's all pretty good. Really pleased that I came to check that the orchard's okay, and it is. It's important that we look after our facilities and make sure that they're okay for when we are allowed back out. We can come and use them. We have got working parties scheduled here for the months through the summer and the autumn, but it obviously depends if we're on lockdown or not, whether we're allowed to run them or not. But certainly next year we'll be open again. We've got Apple Day scheduled in October, but again we'll keep you posted on whether that's going to happen or not. It is, as I say, it's the 100 years of the orchard this year, so it'd be really nice if we can all celebrate it together. We were planning big celebrations, but it really depends on whether we're allowed to or not. But we can virtually celebrate it by enjoying it and looking around it through Facebook and YouTube. It'll be part of the magic of being in such a beautiful place. I hope everybody's well. I hope you had a good Easter. I hope you didn't eat too many Easter eggs. I must admit I ate all of one yesterday. But I've not been tempted to eat the children's yet. Or maybe I've been tempted, but I've not eaten the children's yet. So thank you for joining me on my tour around the orchard today. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you to everybody that's doing the brilliant live streams. I've really enjoyed watching them, and please continue to watch them and share them. Keep everybody in touch. Send us your pictures of your gardens, what you're up to, your crafts, your activities, how you're staying well, how you're looking after yourselves and how you're looking after each other at this time. It's really important that we do that and we stay in touch. So keep talking to us, keep sending us stuff. Thanks very much, guys. Look after yourselves. Bye.